Steve Miner is an American filmmaker born in 1951. Before his 1981 directorial debut, Friday the 13th Part 2, he worked with Wes Craven and Sean S. Cunningham on the editing and directed The Second Unit. Besides its regular projects and several TV movies, to be more precise, failed pilot episodes that were never picked up as a series, of which apparently not even a photo exists anymore, he mainly shoots episodes for TV series. For his Friday the 13th movies, House, Warlock, Halloween Age 20, The Day of the Dead remake and Lake Placid, see the retrospectives.
I'm going down to Alphabet Street, I'm gonna crown first girl that I meet, I'm gonna talk so sexy. She'll want me from my head to my feet.
When his wealthy father refuses to pay for his tuition, the spoiled Mark in Soul Man from 1986 transforms himself with tanning pills into a black man. In order to get a Harvard minority scholarship. But he's soon confronted with racism and falls in love with part-time working single mother student Sarah, who he practically stole the spot from, and begins to feel guilty about his deception.
I'm gonna drive my daddy's Thunderbird, a white red ride, 66, so glam, it's absurd. I'm gonna put her in the backseat and drive her.
The extremely funny, harmless comedy, which primarily targets stereotypes, caused controversy at the time due to C. Thomas Howell's blackface, received excessively negative reviews, including for alleged racism, although it addresses precisely that, and there were some protests. But it still made back its $4.5 million cost in America alone 6 times over, and was a hit. Which would be, thanks to our new woke order, almost unthinkable today.
Watch.
In 1991, Disney's Wild Hearts Can't Be Broken was loosely based on Sonora Webster Carver's 1961 autobiography A Girl and Five Brave Horses. Here, the young Sonora wants to make her fortune in Atlantic City in the 1930s and ends up in a horse show where horses with riders, so-called diving girls, jump from a tower into a pool. There she works her way up from stablemate to showstar and marries the owner. When she loses her sight in an accident, she continues to work blindly as a diving girl for 11 years, unnoticed by the audience. No reliable data is available on budget and box office of this rather entertaining romantic drama.
Better day.
A year later, in 1939, test pilot Daniel in the fantasy time travel drama Forever Young allows himself to be frozen for a year in a top-secret experiment by scientist friend Harry, because his girlfriend has been in a coma for 6 months after an accident and has already been written off by the doctors. When Harry himself has a fatal accident, his capsule gets misplaced in some warehouse and, while playing, unknowingly opened 53 years later by Ned and his friend. At the Air Force Base, no one believes him, and Daniel finds shelter secretly at first with Ned, whom he befriends, and his single mother Claire, whom he rescues from her ex-boyfriend. Ned helps him find people who know about his past, and he learns that Helen is still alive, but also that he ages by the amount of time he was frozen in a matter of days. Warner Brothers bought the film rights to the rest of Daniel for $2 million, the highest sum ever paid for a screenplay back then, whose implausible ending seems a little bit rushed. Nevertheless, the extremely watchable, very well cast, cutely naive Mel Gibson romantic vehicle whose company produced it received rather mediocre reviews, but at cost of $20 million grossed $127 million worldwide and was a commercial success. In 1994, the comedy My Father the Hero is about 14-year-old Nicole who goes on vacation to the Bahamas with her father André from Paris, who rarely sees her as the divorced mother lives with her in New York. She falls in love with 17-year-old Ben and invents crazier-getting stories to make herself more interesting, such as that André is in reality her lover, terminally ill, fought in the 100 Years' War, and so on. Who doesn't suspect anything at first, which of course leads to a series of misunderstandings and misguided confrontations, but when he finds out, he reluctantly plays along so that she has enough time to tell Ben the truth. The completely unnecessary remake, which was released here as Daddy Cool, received mainly negative reviews and made $45 million worldwide. No data for the budget is available. It is based on the much better, since much more sensitive and not nearly as silly, same-named French comedy hit, released 3 years earlier, therefore the new film title in Germany, with a practically identical plot, in which Gérard Depardieu already played the naive father. The divorced mother also lives in Paris, who is with his daughter in the original on vacation in Mauritius. In the 1996 comedy Big Bully, the unsuccessful author David Leary moves with his son back to the place of his youth to work as a teacher at his old school. There he is shocked to discover that his old tormentor Bigger also works there. Bigger used to bully him as a child, but he took revenge the day he left by reporting his moonrock theft, and therefore unknowingly ruined his life. Soon incidents of vicious pranks being played on Leary begin to pile up, and their old game reignites. This annoying parade of low-level jokes, which practically turns in the last third into a horror movie, was quite rightly nailed at the cross by critics across the board. Won several negative awards and at a cost of $15 million only made $2 million in the US, making it a huge flop.
Cat, we need you to rap. Cat, we need you to rap. Don't give it to us slow, 'cause you know. New power soul. Gotcha, go.
Texas Rangers from 2001 was an even bigger disaster. In 1875, 10 years after the American Civil War, the government deploys the Texas Rangers under the terminally ill ex-preacher Leander McNally as a new police force to pacify the south of the country. He hastily recruits a mostly young and inexperienced squad of 30 men, including George Durham, on whose 1962 memoir Taming the Nuisance Strip it's loosely based, to take action against John Kingfisher and his gang, who are terrorizing the country. The seemingly hopeless battle, they are ambushed and lose almost half their men, is further complicated by disagreements within the squad and differing legal opinions. The rather entertaining western, which takes some liberties with the historical facts, was actually supposed to be made by John Milius. See also Conan the Barbarian, who also wrote the first screenplay back in 1990, but left the project due to disagreements with the producers. The film was finally completed in 1999 at an estimated cost of $38 million, but was not released until 2 years later. Received generally bad reviews and made just $600,000 in the US. In 2008, Steve Miner's last huge flop, Private Valentine, Blonde and Dangerous. In the same year, his Day of the Dead remake Abomination came out, which was also inconspicuously dumped in the US direct-to-DVD, ended for the time being his cinema career. In this unbearable military clown show, movie star Megan Valentine suddenly finds herself broke and humiliated in public. She gets drunk, into a car accident and signs up for the US Army in the hope that this will change her life. The spoiled actress soon comes into conflict with her strict drill sergeants and the harsh army discipline, which, according to the official synopsis, leads to many funny situations. But certainly not for those who have to watch it. Major Movie Star, the German title, is a watered-down, silly rip-off of the 1980s comedy hit Private Benjamin with Goldie Hawn. The estimated $30 million flick again rightly received consistently negative reviews and was allegedly so bad it was not released in any English-speaking country. There it was only shown in Russia, no wonder they hate us, and Bulgaria in 2008, and appeared elsewhere directly on DVD the following year.